This video is going to cover the topic of ratio tables. Be sure your date and topic are at the top. The essential question will be, what is a ratio table and how do we use one? A reminder that a ratio is a comparison of quantities. A ratio might be that I can run 2 miles in 18 minutes, right? I'm comparing the distance I can go in the amount of time that it takes. You will also sometimes see this called a rate. So today when we're talking about ratio tables, you might also hear them described as rate tables. We can use what we call a rate table to find and organize rates and ratios. I'm going to add the word equivalent here as well, because we want to make sure our rate and ratio is consistent. So here I have an example of a rate or ratio. I use 12 chocolate chips for every 2 cookies that I bake. I can use a table to find the number of cookies I can make with various amount of chocolate chips, or I can find the number of chips I need for a certain number of cookies. So here I've set up my rate table. I have the number of chips on one line and the number of cookies. I can use this in lots of ways. So let's say I know that I want to make 4 cookies. Right? I can use my rate table to say, hey, wait a second, this is twice as many cookies, so I'm going to use twice as many chips. So I would put a 24 right there. Maybe I want to make 6 cookies. Looking at my rate table, I can say, oh, that's 3 times as many cookies, so I need 3 times as many chips. And normally you wouldn't see me writing this multiplication. I'm just showing you how I'm getting those numbers. My rate table might also work backwards. Instead of knowing how many cookies I want, maybe I know how many chips I have available. So maybe I know that I have 84 chips or 120 chips, and I want to see how many cookies I can make. So in this case, I know, 12 times 7 is what makes my 84. 2 times 7 is 14. I can make 14 cookies. Or on my last one here, 120, 12 times 10 would be 120, so 2 times 10 would be 20. I can fill in missing values based on what I know in my rate table. Sometimes our ratio or rate table uses non-whole numbers. For example, if I know Miss King can grade 4 essays in 1.5 hours, we can use the rate table to find how long it will take her to grade 8 or 16 essays. So here in this example, we know that if she wants to grade 2 times as many essays, we would take our hours and multiply that by 2. So that would be 3 hours. Or if we know that she wants to grade 4 times as many essays, we would need to multiply the number of hours times 4 and see that that would take her 6 hours. We can also see that she might need to multiply this value, this rate, by 5 to figure out how long it's going to take her to make it through 20 essays. So we had to do 1.5 times 5, right, which would be 7.5. Oops, make that a little clearer there. Let's conclude this by having you try one. So a student reads 8 pages in 2 minutes. Use what you know to go ahead and fill in this rate table. Take a moment, pause the video, and then we'll see how you did. How'd you do? Using what you know from the first column of your rate table, you should be able to multiply and find the missing values. So this video showed us what a rate table is. Also, you might call it a ratio table. And this rate or ratio table can help us organize our thinking and be able to say, oh, in 12 minutes, this student will be able to read 48 pages.